Ever since the agricultural revolution up until the industrial revolution, there have been two kinds of people in the world: the rich people and the not rich people. And the rich people were rich because they owned land, because you can use land to make money. If you own a bunch of land, you can produce all the food that society needs and make a ton of money. If you own land, you can own all the forests on the land and use the trees in your forest to make wood to make a bunch of money. If you own land, you can use all the water on your land for all the things water is used for and make a ton of money. If you own land, you have all the ore deposits where they get the metal from, maybe silver and gold, and make a bunch of money. Now, within the rich people, between the agricultural revolution and the industrial revolution, there was super rich people and not so rich people. People that owned a lot of land and people that owned not so much land. And one way that the super rich people figured out how to flex their wealth on the not so rich people was to have a piece of land that they didn't use to make more wealth. It was saying, I have so much land, I'm so much more richer than you, I don't need all my land to still be richer than you. I have this piece of land that's just nice to look at. Look how pretty it is. I don't need it to graze my animals. I don't need it to grow food. I don't need it to mine for ore. I use it just to appreciate the beauty of nature. Look how rich I am. And this is the origin story of the front lawn. To have a piece of land that you don't need for anything other than for your pure aesthetic enjoyment. This is why having a front lawn, a nice front lawn, is a flex, a piece of modern conspicuous consumption. And modern conspicuous consumption is a throwback to this ancient flex of your status on people that aren't as well off as you are. And a lot of psychologists, a lot of economists, a lot of evolutionary psychologists, they explain how almost everything we do today is some kind of flex. And conspicuous consumption is one of the most prevalent kinds of flexes. We buy brand name shoes, brand name cars. We even go to brand name colleges. And one very interesting study, some psychologists looked at the stuff kids learn in school, and then they looked at the stuff they need at their jobs. And the stuff they use at their jobs to do their work isn't really stuff they learned in school. It's stuff their companies teach them at their jobs. And so they learn stuff in school not to use that knowledge at their jobs, just to get a degree. And the conclusion they came to is that going to college really is more of a flex than anything else. Because you could theoretically go straight from high school to the company, they'll teach you what you need to learn, and you can do your job. But people go to college to flex their status. People go to high-level colleges to flex their status. So according to this theory, everything humans do is some kind of flex. Every time we talk, every time we express ourselves, it is a subconscious attempt to flex our status over whoever we're talking to. Even these low-key opinion fights, my opinion. These are really flex contests. My opinion is better than your opinion. Oh yeah, but my opinion is better than your opinion. Yeah, well. And this goes all the way back to the days of hunter-gatherers. Because in the days of hunter-gatherers, where you were in the tribal hierarchy was everything. The higher up you were in the tribal hierarchy, the better your life was. The more sexual opportunities you could find. The more likely you could pass your genes on to the next generation. But if you were down low in the hierarchy, you wouldn't have a chance to pass your genes on to the next generation. So everything you did, for most of human history, 90% of human history was in these tribal environments. Everything we did was to get and flex status. And the way we got and flex status was by doing things that benefited other people. We would kill the big animal. We would scare away the scary monster. We would find the water. That would help people in the tribe, and people in the tribe would give us respect and admiration, and that respect and admiration over the long term would slowly add up to status. And that's how we present this desire for status in our brains. We don't consciously, or we aren't consciously aware that we crave status. We are consciously aware that we want to help people, and we're only subconsciously aware that we crave the status that comes from helping people. This is why everyone will say, no, I don't like status. I'm not chasing status. I just want to help people. The helping people is the conscious part, but the desire for status is the subconscious part. Another reason people will never admit that they're chasing status is because most people have never really felt what it's like to actually have real status. Very few of us will walk into a room and people are talking blah, 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 blah. Is that, oh my gosh, that's that guy, isn't it? None of us will ever have an experience being that guy, so we never really feel like what it's like to actually have status. But this is precisely why power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, because the more status we get, the more we feel like all this status from other people, the more power we feel, the more we want, and that crowds out everything. And so because most people have these two reasons why the desire for status is hidden from us, we focus on the runner-ups of our desires: sex, money, food, etc. But the real drive, the real purpose of human life is to get as much status as we can. Which means that this is the prime directive of human existence, to get status, which means you can leverage this status instinct for easy persuasion and easy seduction. How do you do this? Well, you first must understand that this has to be absolutely subconscious. This has to stay in their subconscious. This has to be absolutely covert. If you blatantly say, hey, what's your favorite way of getting status and recognition from others? You'll come across as creepy. If you saw somebody walking down the street with a Louis Vuitton bag and you said, hey, I know why you bought that bag. You bought that bag so you could demonstrate why you're better than everybody else. They would get very, very angry at that. So this has to stay very, very subtle, very, very implied. They have to come to that conclusion on their own subconsciously. But all you have to do is ask questions that elicit memories that are kind of status adjacent. Memories that involve them helping people. Ask them questions like, when was the last time you solved the problem that nobody else can solve and you helped out a lot of people? When was the last time you did something that benefited everybody and they were grateful? When was the last time you completed a project at work and everybody was impressed with your work? And talk about these events and build up those images in their mind. Ask questions to build out those memories, to make them very, very real, very, very detailed, very, very enhanced with strong emotions. And they will feel absolutely fantastic. They will feel on purpose for their life, maybe for the first time ever. And they will associate those feelings subconsciously with you and whatever ideas you want. And a good way to do this is to future pace their status dreams. Just don't use the word status. Always phrase this in terms of helping other people. So imagine it's 10 years in the future. Imagine it's 20 years in the future. And you've helped out millions of people. And you are widely recognized as being one of the greatest humanitarians who have ever lived for helping out so many people. What does that look like? What have you done that has helped out so many people? And build up that memory in their brain. Really expand it. Make it as sensory rich as you possibly can. And talk about that as long as you can. And then just toss in your suggestions in the end, and they will subconsciously associate your suggestions with that internally driven feeling of status and recognition and power. And this is the holy grail of marketing, in case you haven't realized. Buy our product and you will have tons of status. But this is never explicitly stated, it's always implied. Buy our product and you will have massive status. If you can imply this through your conversations, you can get anybody to do anything. Do what I want and you will feel massive status. Again, you can't say this directly. You can't say this explicitly. You have to imply this covertly. But if you can imply this covertly by building up their status memories, by building up their status dreams, and then tossing in a few suggestions, they will make the subconscious connection on their own. Feeling massive status is the same as doing what you want me to do. And you can get anybody to do anything. If you're in sales, you can make a ton of money. Or you can have a lot of fun with your friends. Or if you just want to make people feel fantastic, make people feel better than they have in a long time, use this status model of communication. Elicit memories of status, elicit future dreams of status, and watch their eyes light up and their face go crazy with happiness. Try this, see how fantastically easy it is. If you'd like to learn more about how to use conversational hypnosis to persuade people to do what you want, check out the links below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time.